I want to go to an all-inclusive. And guess what? I found it $40 cheaper on Expedia. Looks like the route I should go. Wrong, 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 wrong. All right, rewind. Let's talk about the differences between booking with Vic and booking through Expedia, Priceline, any other big consolidator. So the biggest difference, of course, is the personalized attention that you're going to get. If anything goes wrong leading up to your trip, while planning your trip, on your trip, during a travel day, you call, text me. I get on the phones and I deal with it for you so you don't have to, versus calling a 1-800 number and waiting on hold for however long, getting transferred, asking to escalate, not getting maybe the results you want and having to do it all again. Let me take that stress for you. So that's the biggest thing, right? That's hands down it. And then of course, I'm developing a relationship with you that's hopefully going to last for a really long time. So let's go over the other things though, the things that you're not going to think about. Sometimes there could be a savings. I'm not going to downplay it. Maybe you could save $100, which is a pretty sizable amount. And that's enough for anybody that has a logical brain to think about price shopping and maybe booking somewhere else. But let me really explain the things that you must look at before comparing apples to oranges, right? So number one, you have to look at the flight restrictions. This is huge. So many times people will book flights that are not changeable. They are, maybe you can't select your seat, so that comes lower. The price that I select for you is going to be the best, most economical option for your flights, but it is going to be the one that doesn't have every restriction in the book. I'm going to pick your seat so you can sit next to your travel partners. I'm going to make sure that you are allowed to check in early and not there. So there's definitely going to be the class of service that I think that you would most want, versus maybe one where you get there and you have children that you're flying with and you can't sit by them and they're at the back of the plane and you're at the front. Sometimes that happens and there's no way to control that. So that's huge. What about the layovers? I'm very particular about the layovers that I get from my clients. So I am trying to get you a real short one on the way there. If you have to clear through customs, I'm making sure that you have enough time to get through there. But I don't want you with a bunch of extra time at an airport for you to be bored and wish that you were on your destination or back home. So do you have a really long layover? Do you have an overnight? Do you have a layover that there's no way that you can physically absolutely not make? Okay, are you in Dallas with like 45 minutes going through customs? It's not going to happen. So what does your layover look like? What about the room category? This is really big. A lot of times clients will say, hey, I found it cheaper on Priceline. And they'll show me their flight or their package. And maybe the flight's the exact same, the layover's the same, all that stuff. But the room category is different. Here are a few things you need to look out for. Maybe you are going to Secrets Acumal, okay, in Mexico, and a beautiful resort, and it's an all-inclusive. Well, they now have a breakfast plan option where you go and you pay for your hotel and breakfast only. So you're not going to be very happy when you arrive at your beautiful resort and you're so excited about unlimited luxury and all-inclusive amenities to find out that you only get one meal a day. It's the cheapest meal of the day, and your alcohol and your food for the rest of the day you're going to have to pay for. That might be hidden, right? So you need to know that. What about the location of that room? Is it the same? Is it not? The occupancy of that room, the bedding of that room. These are all important things to make sure you look at, because while you might be at the same resort, it could be an entirely different room category with a different structure of how that trip will look for you. Taxes and fees. So Hawaii is a huge destination for fees. Let's use them as an example. I will always tell you what the per night fee should be. Now, it could fluctuate a little bit given taxes, but it's just going to be a few dollars. So let's say there's a $45 per night fee that I tell you about. Other than that, a lot of resorts really don't have fees. They're included with the trip price. Maybe you will have a $1.50 per night fee that is a new local ordinance tax that I didn't tell you about. But it will never be anything that will make you, why didn't you tell me about that? Here's the problem. You might book something through a big website and not realize that there is a large fee that you have to pay per night that is due upon arrival. Vegas, for example, okay? You're going to have that $35 per night fee pretty much wherever you're staying. So most fees, unless I tell you about them otherwise, are going to be part of your trip. But sometimes you can get to an all-inclusive destination and those fees are not taken in account when you book them and you have to pay at the resort. You're going to be pretty unhappy when you have to shell out a couple extra $100 that you didn't know about. If you are part of a group or you have multiple couples going or multiple families going, you definitely want to be together, right? You want to be in that same transfer. You want to be in the same area of the hotel. You're not going to be able to necessarily accomplish that when you are booking on your own because the resort won't be able to get the communication from you to the big supplier to them. I directly contact the director of sales or the general manager, somebody at the resort, to ensure that you get the proximity to whom you need to be by. It's an extra thing that I do. You don't pay for it. And then lastly, at the end of the day, if it goes wrong, I promise a text to me is so much easier and less stressful than calling and worrying about it. So those are some things to think about when you are looking at booking a vacation, specifically an all-inclusive resort destination. Some of the pitfalls that you might get kind of sucked into and not realize that you're falling for if you were to book these on your own through a big supplier. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't ever look at them? No, absolutely not. But just make sure that you're comparing apples to apples and not apples to oranges. Take care. Bye.